While there's a lot of golden stone in the middle on this map, the theme, at least with the best players, has been the players who dominate the water on the outside dominate the middle. However, there was a comment on one of my videos, which I saw, where someone mentioned the idea of maybe building fishing ships around the TC area. Well, in this game, Viper tries exactly that. All right, so I was curious on what Viper would go for. And remember the importance. Like, yeah. Eventually, at the conclusion of this group, it will be Viper Leary playing for what might be first place. We'll see. Could also have massive ramifications on where Tato goes, because Tato's still a heavy favorite to be able to rush in and maybe get that third place. Viper playing as the Malay, not the Dravidians. He had Malay and Dravidians as the most realistic options, I felt. And the last time we saw Viper play this map, he was playing against the Malay as the Romans. And while Viper won that game, I did not think his approach was very good. And I'm just being honest. Because Viper's approach has been stellar. He's looked amazing here today. So, you know, not looking for reasons to hate in the poor snake. But no, seriously, it just wasn't clean. But I said the same thing about Hera the first time he played El Dorado. And then the second time he played El Dorado, you could tell it was like the first game had given him some things to work on. And the main thing that has been really, really solid on this map for the winners has been the water control. Malians and Malay, both really good with that. So I think for Malay, you have the timings, which is super nice. Advancing faster to the next stage. More vision on the docks as well is a pretty nice bonus. For the Malians, cheaper wood buildings. That helps so much on a map where you're going to be making multiple docks, multiple production buildings, lots of houses. That adds up. Feels very smooth. But 2 tiles of gold, 2 tiles of stone available at each player's base. The rest of the golden stones available in the middle. And this is Viper's home map. We also had this selected as a home map by many other players. This has been our opening game by the decision of many players in the draft. We have seen El Dorado way more than I ever expected here in Plat. I thought especially in situations where you have a favorite versus an underdog, you would never see the favorite pick this map because of how all-in this map can be. But I think really it feels that way. It has the temptation to, yeah, get the TC and castle up in the middle. But how many times are we seeing games where players do that and then they don't win? Because they don't have the other aspects of their eco sorted. So it's like the middle is it's also always visible. I think it's a massive bait. Like, hey, take me, TC me, and then, oh, you're dead because you forgot about fish. Would obviously be very different if there wasn't fish on this version. What the? Viper's fishing here? What? Huh? Your villagers are supposed to take these fish. Okay, all right, so this is oh, God. Pathing. The AoE gods strike back. Viper makes a dock, which could be received as a little bit of experimentation. And the Age of Empires gods say, take that. He lost a villager. Sobek's going to see this. Sobek, oh, he doesn't see it. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. But this tells me that Viper is going to try and fish trap with the Malay. Malay fish traps do have like thousands of food on it. But you do need to invest 100 wood into the fish trap. So, realistically, I think the fact that your villagers can take this food anyhow, and it's right there, and then the fact that there's all this fish out here, which your fishing ships can just travel to pretty freely, I don't think that this is an optimal way to play Malay. I think Viper is up 2-0, and he's going to try something different here. Yeah, Malay fish traps are cheaper. It's a good point, guys. It's a good point. Now, I want to know what Sobek's scouting looks like here. Sobek is going to scout the shoreline. And he's not going to see a dock, which is just the weirdest freaking thing. Because in all of his preparation, he's probably like, how do I counter the Malay fish? How do I win Navy? I'm going to go to gold because I want to go for Navy. Here's the other thing, though. Viper also doesn't have a way to kill the opponent's fish if he doesn't have a dock on the outside. So Sobek doesn't see a dock, but does that make him think Viper still probably has one on the outside? Or does he assume that the dock is here? Because he didn't actually see this. I mean, the TC, I'm trying to think about this more. The TC does protect this really nicely. It's an interesting strategy. I don't think it's anything Viper necessarily practiced. I think it's something he just thought about, and he's like, let's give it a shot here. It's the safest fish boom you could have, right? I said safe fish, so... All right, Viper will head to gold. Viper sending a villager this way. He has not scouted Sobek's dock, but he should know because everyone else is docking the outside. He should know Sobek is docked, so I think that villager that's over here is currently wandering over there. Sobek hit feudal age faster than Viper, who's the Malay, which is pretty notable. And Sobek's making a fire galley. Now, I'm wondering where he sends it. Because if he just keeps it at home, it's fine. You keep it at home, and then you protect yourself from Viper's ships. Viper, gotta keep an eye on the fish traps. Can someone remind me how cheap Malay fish traps are? You guys want to see res collected? There's no way it's any different. It's gotta be the same. Yeah, okay. The Sobek has collected more. Like, the only payoff for this is if you're killing Sobek's fish, and if, you know, then you have the time to add into the fish trap. So it's more of a long-term choice. Like, think about it this way. Viper's producing out of one dock offensively in a moment. Sobek already has 2 fires. So Viper should never have a way of contesting Sobek's fish. I really like Sobek's position. And Sobek finding this is huge. Had he gone the other way, maybe it would not have been huge. He did also lose his scout to Viper, though. Viper added a spear. Sobek was distracted. Sobek did not add a barracks until now. He's on the way with that. Viper already had one, and I guess Sobek didn't know, obviously. Sobek has 6 fishing ships. Viper is fish trapping. 33% cheaper, 3 times the food. Oh, I didn't know the math stacked like that. Okay, so now you're getting thousands of food. And Viper's adding more docks. This is like Black Forest fish boom style. And Sobek... No! Sobek is going to kill the fish. Because he doesn't have a scout to check anymore. And logic would dictate that there's going to be fish on the outside. So, I mean, he could still defend himself too. You know, it's not like that isn't an opportunity. And now Viper loses his scout. Viper also lost a villager? Huh? Viper lost the villager. I'm not sure to what. I'm going to imagine... Oh, wait. We saw it at the start. We saw it at the start. I'm so sorry. This game's been all over the place. Just not used to that happening. All right. Who runs out of wood first? Who runs out of wood first between these two ladies? Uh-oh. 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 If only Sobek had his other fires here. If only Sobek had his other fires. They're on the other side looking for Viper's fish. Sobek doesn't have a clue that Viper is fish trapping around the starting TC area. This is like... Is it big brain? I think it's kind of big brain. I also think it takes so long to pay off. It might be very little tiny pea brain, but there is some sense of logic attached to the thinking for Viper. It just takes so much longer to pay off. He still hasn't been able to kill any eco from Sobek. Sobek needs a win desperately. And if Viper loses this, it is so much more difficult for him to ever get first place in this group. Viper hasn't clicked up yet. Now he's walling up a bit. He also has quite a few villagers in queue. So that's a lot of food in there. Res collected, for those really curious about it, it's even. But food collected has been more for Sobek. And he's had less investment into that. And then he also saves wood on the buildings he builds for the middle. And Viper's putting wood into fish traps. Oh, the demo. Oh, get out of there, people! Ooh, nice demo from Viper. The idea to have a demo in that choke point was really smart from both. Viper doesn't have another one yet, so he won't be able to advance much further. And he did misclick through there. Here comes Sobek. He's going to come back. He's actually attacking Viper's villager there with the fire, but the other fire is coming over. Will Sobek go for the middle. It feels like a good opportunity to. I like how he added scouts. I like how he's heading over towards Viper, who hasn't had a scout. He lost his. He's just focusing on his fish traps. I want to see Sobek do the 7 taunt so bad when he sees this. Because there's got to be some confusion right now. It's a tourney, so he probably won't. But I want to see him go, ah, when he sees the dock. Okay, so he sees the Vils. The Vils are going to run to the TC. Now he sees this. And now he's probably like, oh boy, I don't know if that's good or not. TC in the middle now for Sobek. Viper will soon run out of gold at his base. He's only got 800 gold left, so he's halfway through it. Scouts are through. Viper's making quite a few spears here. Sobek has the light cav upgrade. Now Sobek actually can attack the fish because Viper doesn't have Vils next to the TC. So you think it protects you, but you actually have the pool villagers to hop into the TC then, actually. These are fishing ships that haven't had jobs, that are waiting for the wood for the fish traps, and that's going to go down. And again, the TC's now been garrisoned, so it's not like, you know, that difficult for Viper to get there. And okay, Sobek. Res collected. I mean, Viper, he has more fishing ships, and Viper's collected more resources. Just so much wood. But honestly, like, Viper's going to zoom up to the next stage. Right? He needs to click. He's missed his buildings because he's been trying this new thing. If he can click up and drop a castle defensively, he's not going to die to the siege push. Sobek adding more fishing ships along this side, which Viper cannot contest right now. That is so important. Viper's on the way to Castle Age. Can see the siege workshop coming up for Sobek. There's a part of me that really wants this to work. There's a part of me that thinks it'd be epic for Sobek to take advantage of this experimentation in an every game counts format. Is it good? Is it not good? I don't know. I don't think it is optimal. I think, if anything, a combination of doing this while having docks on the outside would make a bit more sense, potentially. But this is the first time I've seen this, and it's Viper we're talking about. He's got a mind for unique strategy. Siege push begins from Sobek, who hasn't been mining any stone, by the way. And Viper about to reach the next stage. Viper has trapped these units in here. I want to see Viper go War Galley and try and kill the fish on the outside. I think that's the key right now. Because if you have these fish and you kill the opponent's fish, it could be really good. It's much more realistic than building a castle in the middle just yet. Guys, Viper might need to build a castle to protect his fish traps. Honestly, like, if he loses this area, he could lose all of his fish. Do you make Navy here? Nice micro from Sobek. He hasn't lost these units yet. I love the fact he's added more fish. Pikeman upgrade coming in for Viper in that barracks. More knights coming through. Viper has 6 spears. The other ones are split up right now. But you do get the armor upgrades instantly upon arriving to the next stage for the melee, which is just so good. Pikeman upgrade in, so now knights are probably not going to accomplish much. Sobek distracted. Pulls away. Viper still no attacking here. That's the only fishing ship there for Viper on the outside. Sobek really using his micro ability to just at least keep those pikemen there. And now one of his monks is going to convert Viper's pike, and Viper has to delete the pike. Guys, Viper is soon going to be out of gold. He's already out of stone. Okay? He doesn't have access to the gold and the stone in the middle. Can he get there? Can he stop this? Can he somehow compete? He doesn't have a barracks. Let's check res collected now. FYI, Viper's collected more. He just surpassed the food count. Obviously, had to collect a lot of that wood to be able to get the food. Viper getting atonement to convert enemy monks. But that costs gold. As do his own monks, and as does redemption. All of his gold is getting sunk into these monks. Do you make a demo here if you're Viper? Run away with the fishing ships. Oh no! Make a demo! What are you doing? Okay, he hops out with atonement to convert Sobek's monks. No redemption yet. Out of the TC, back in the TC. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Big moves. I think redemption will be in now, so Viper could switch to the siege, which I think is more valuable. in converting the monks, but I guess you can convert the monks and then convert the siege. He's got 13 fish traps, so I assume they all have fishing ships. Sobek, dude, just drop a castle in the middle and back away right now. You just need to play in towards counters to monks right now if you can. Viper's going to try and make a move for the middle, and there's the castle for Sobek. Now, the castle's kind of awkward because Viper can see that, and Viper could still technically go here with the castle and get access to the middle. Sobek's adding farms right now. Viper has not done that at all. Leary is, well, let's be honest, he probably is just going to look at the result later, but let's pretend Leary's watching right now, and Leary's like, come on, Sobek, let's go! Viper would be 2 wins behind Leary after 3 rounds if he loses this game. But if he wins it, that would be pretty ridiculous, dude. I mean, it's a lot of fishing ships, and that's a lot of fish traps. And that's a lot of monks, and there's no real counter to the monks right now. There's no light calf from Sobek, which, yes, he could consider now, but Viper had pikemen before, so that's probably why he didn't do it. I think Sobek needs to use the market and buy his own castle. Just drop it right next to this. Do not give Viper access to gold here. Here comes Viper. Sobek can see the vills. Sobek... well, I mean, Viper's using the market. Sobek's not. The siege can be converted. The monks can be converted. That's a lot of villagers from the snake. Viper will not convert that mangonel because it gets deleted. But Viper will build this castle. And then he can take some gold, and in the TC that protects everything, he will click up to the Imperial Age as if it was all by plan. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Are you freaking kidding me? Sobek, you need to take out the MTC. You need to drop a castle right here. This is his weakness. This is his weakness. Yes. Yes, drop the castle there. And make it snappy. He wants to drop it in Viper's base right next to the docks. He can't fit it, though. There he goes. Okay, so this is actually a pretty big deal. Viper is melee, though, so he will advance very quickly to Imp. Sobek's like, get out of here, fish traps. Also, run away, poor Gebetto. Do not get converted. Viper is upgrading thalassocracy, which will turn his docks into harbors. So his docks will now be weapons. Also, quite a few units here have switched sides. Oh my god, what is happening here? Okay. So, I mean, wait, Viper deletes the dock? I think that's so fishing ships don't go to the other fish traps. I'm not exactly sure. He will make it to the Imperial Age Viper. Sobek could still have a fighting chance here. He needs to have tons of light cav. Gebetto doesn't feel like it to me. Light cav is the play. You can kill the fish traps. There's no way Viper can garrison into TC pretty soon. That's all of Viper's food eco. And Viper's going to make trebs, but if you go light cav, like stop with vills actually. Just spend all food on light cav. Even cav can kill the trebs. What a unique game here, guys. Also, Sobek has just been expanding with food eco constantly. He's done a great job. And Gebetto will see the arrows from the dock. Can I check res collected now? Yes, Viper's had more. It's just the wood, though. He's not that far off with food, I guess, which is doable. The gold counts acceptable. Sobek, it's probably too late to imp. Viper's going to have another treb. Pretty soon, Viper could... It might flip-flop where Viper has no food and has all gold and stone, funnily enough. Like, realistically... I guess the thalassocracy upgrade makes it awkward for the Gebetto to kill the fish. Realistically, though, I think this is Viper's vulnerability. The middle, obviously, he's going to reclaim. Sobek's adding the cav. Now, it's a little late, right? But the guy's played phenomenally well. And just stay in Castle Age and get lots of upgrades here. Viper has 4 monks. He has 1 pike. He can't afford a lot. But Viper would eventually probably react by making more pikemen. Obviously, you need food for that, and this is exposed. However, Viper is going to have full stone and gold access, and maybe he drops the second castle here. The TC for Sobek's going to go down. Sobek wanting to pressure this side of Viper's eco. He's trying to be patient with the light cap. There's tons of villagers exposed there to kill. And Viper, does he have vision on it? He does actually with the melee dock vision. See that stable. And I'm sure that's been on his mind anyways. Like, if your opponent's being pushed off of gold, they're not going to make anything else. This is kind of funny. Sobek's just made a bunch of mining camps so he could take as much gold as he can before it all goes down. And here's the light cav. Light cav have swooped in. Viper's Trebs were not walled in. Viper can wall, but he didn't know. He does have some Gabetto, which are very helpful here, plus the Castle Fire. But Treb needs to stay alive as we see towers from Sobek. Sobek is not finished, guys. And Viper's TC is about to go down, and we see more stables going up there for Sobek. We see kills here happening from Sobek on Viper's Monks. Viper's Treb survives. This game is ridiculous. And the stakes are so high. The stakes are so high. It's such an important game. Where my mind keeps going, though, is the fish, right? Because if Viper has the fish, he can make pikemen. I suppose if Viper has the gold, he can buy food to make pikemen. But if it's straight pikemen in Imp with Imp armor, because the upgrade's being free and instant, versus just Castle Age Light Cav, the only benefit Sobek really has is mobility, and I'm not sure the mobility will be enough. Viper's got 28 pikes. And what a game. I mean, Viper... His docks are getting kills, and he's getting bracer for them. Oh my god. What a crazy, crazy strat here. Pike's finding great kills. Pike Gabetto headed this way. Viper with full gold and stone control. Poor Sobek already lost the previous 2 games. Still trying his hardest here. He's still got a population lead. He is going to lose some fish on the outside. But of course, the fish on the outside have now reached a point where it's inefficient compared to the fish traps. That's a big aspect, right? So, you know, the long-term payoff is really what the fish traps are about. And this has gone long-term. Which makes the strategy feel somewhat legit because it's really hard to punish this type of area. Viper dropping a castle here. Will swing his Trebs over here to be able to Treb down that castle from Sobek, because it is still a problem. He was able to add fish traps when he was able to breathe a little bit earlier in the game, but like this is now a high pressure scenario. It's harder for him to play that whole fish boom game. But I mean, unfortunately for Sobek, this castle is going to drop. You can't engage against the Trebs right now. In the middle, Viper's still got Golden Stone. Viper's Karambit Warriors have found some random pickoffs. Viper's Pikemen doing a really good job. Like, Sobek's trying to add skirms. He doesn't have gold. So he's going for a unit that costs wood and food. But it's the armor upgrades being in free for melee and just a couple Karambit Warriors out of the castles that means you do enough. Viper wins 3-0. It was really important for him to win 3-0 to still have a chance at that first place. And Viper gets the job done. Just experimental strategy. Probably a strategy that just has the biggest ring of Viper to it you'll maybe see in TTL Season 3. And as risky as it was, as awkward as it was, he gets the job done with the TC dock type thing. If Viper hasn't had a TC in a long time, hasn't exactly needed it. He needed the fish traps. That's his real eco, and then he needed the castle in the middle with the Trebs. I feel for Sobek because losing 3-0 is painful, but Sobek put up a really big fight in this series, and every single game, seriously, I thought he played well. He was not expected to be able to get wins against Viper today. For him, I think it was doable if he had Light Cav a bit earlier, right? He had so much economy, it just took him a little too long for that light bulb to go off in his head. I think he was caught in the mindset of, let's go up to Imp. And I think if that was never on the cards for him, and he just had more army in the middle, the initial castle could have been denied. Maybe Viper's fishing traps get sniped here, and then Viper can't make as many pikemen. Like, the opportunities were definitely there. But the strategy of doing this is basically saying, you will have your windows, but if you don't kill me, I will have the advantage. And that's the situation here, right? The fish trap advantage over the regular fishing ships, which have been wandering all around. Looks like many of them were actually sniped by Viper. Hard to focus on that. And then obviously having the golden stone in the middle. But like right about, where did Viper drop that castle? Okay, right about, I mean, he dropped it at the perfect time, honestly. It didn't feel very realistic right here for there to be more from Sobek. You know what else? Probably the most epic thing timing-wise about this entire game from Viper. So he'd been out without gold for a while here. Watch his res climb. He goes forward with the thought process of imping after this castle before he even knew the castle would complete. Like right here. See his res? Starts to go up. I'll just speed up. It was like castle, instantly imp. Talk about hitting your timings. Because pretty soon, like if he waits or if he didn't have the res, didn't think about it, then maybe this TC isn't around and then he can't go imp. Yeah, maybe like even with Viper being an imp right here. You know, a couple more stables, a couple of those upgrades being in for Sobek, maybe things go a little bit differently. Such a tough game. Such a tough player to break, though. Viper wins 3-0. So, great individual game, which will ultimately hit the main channel of YouTube later on. I hope people enjoyed it. Let's, though, look at the standings and the results now. Okay, these are the live standings. So, for those that possibly are watching live and didn't see the sets yet, sorry, too late. But live standings are reflected above. Viper really needed a 3-0. This is probably going to take me a second to update because it seems like it's been a bit slow these days. But just toss in here. Got lots of math to do. There we go. Viper then goes up. And he's 7-2 after 3 rounds. Now, look at the difference. If Sobek wins that game, look at the difference in Viper's chance for first. Drops all the way down to 20%. Might even fall in towards third. Because of that victory, though, Viper's a bit closer. The final round for both Viper and Leary will be against each other. But Leary's next round is against Sobek, where again, Sobek will aim to get a victory. And then Viper's round between then is against Classic Pro. And unfortunately, what that means for Sobek is he's at 2 wins and he's at the bottom, one of the favorites to be relegated. But, you know, if he wins versus Classic Pro, and then Classic Pro doesn't get any more wins, and Vivi struggles to get wins, you never know. Sobek's final 2 rounds, though, against Leary, and then against Tato, which is why this says it's going to be tricky for him. And currently, it looks like Classic Pro is favorite to survive. But just like Classic Pro and Vivi haven't played yet. So the Classic Pro Vivi series might end up deciding things. But at the conclusion of 3 weeks in this group, we have Leary 8, Viper 7, Tato 5, and then Classic Pro 3, Vivi and Sobek both at 2. Excited to see Tato, though. Like, I feel like I'm not factoring in Tato for the first place run. Obviously, it's going to be really tough for him. But Viper already played Leary, and Viper already played... Or, sorry, Tato already played Leary, and Tato already played Viper. So, Tato has... he has Vivi, who Viper and Leary both 3-0'd. And then Tato has Sobek, who Viper just 3-0'd. So, realistically, we could see Tato getting to 11 wins. And that obviously could be enough for first, depending on how the rest of the games go. So, really tight, run towards the finish here with just 2 weeks to go in group stage. Remember, first place in the group, and this is for all groups, goes immediately to the quarters. Second and third place have to go in a round of 12 playoffs, where second place from one group plays third place from another group, third place from another group plays second place from another group. That's how it all works in the playoff bracket. And I can just show you in case you guys aren't really sure. So first would get a bye essentially to the quarters. And then this would be the round of 12. So not only do you get the bye into the quarters if you win the group, but then you're not running into someone else who was first, at least until the semifinals. Whereas, like, if you fall into second or third, you're then going up against the first place player in the quarter. So big stuff. Now, one final clarification too. I had misspoke on what happens in the playoffs. Let's see. What the handbook say? I said it was like Group C versus Group D. According to the handbook, It is second place in Group B versus third place in Group C. Second place in Group D versus third place in Group A. Second place in Group A versus third place in Group D. And then second place in Group C versus third and B. Sorry if that is confusing at all, but basically that's the structure. We'll look at the what's the wording here? We will look at the potential matchups maybe come like the last week or something.